Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so I wrote a list of stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it's kind of just an introduction into the last so long in my life and some things that I've realized along the way that have really helped me. Because I wrote a pretty bad spiral down quite a ways, and that's been frustrating. The thing that sucks is when your life isn't going well in your early 20s or early 30s, wherever, you are in a hole, you're negative as far as goals, financial goals, just things you should be accomplishing, ownership of nice vehicles, houses, relationships, whatever it may be. And so any progress that you make is kind of overshadowed by the fact that you're still behind. And I kind of think of it as, I've gone into the negative in my bank account of life. So even if I make really good progress, it's still not a positive balance on the whole. Even just for the average person, I'm probably below average financially, certainly. But so where I'm going to start is really where things took the turn for the worst, which was I had a brother named Caleb who was amazing. Such a better dude than me, so much funnier, and just altogether so smart and a good dude. But I had a brother named Caleb, and he died in 2014. And when he died, it shattered my family, which was already jacked up to begin with. It had never really been much of a family, and after my brother died, it was like the end of it. It was the end of the family. It was the end of my mother. She basically got into bed and didn't get out of it for 9 years, and she died just recently, just last January. So, yeah, so my brother dies, and it breaks the family apart. My sister everybody had bad words with him before he died. Now the crazy thing about this is, so let me go back to when he was still alive. My brother and I had a strange connection, and I actually have a rather strange connection with reality, in that, and this is just what I believe. I don't know how other people will feel about it or what people will think about it, but whether it is like panpsychism or clairvoyance or whatever else, certain things, mostly very important things, dark things, things that are felt extremely strongly, emotionally, I can feel those things, sometimes see those things. And one day I was standing on my mother's back deck with my brother, and often it's a shared thing, where suddenly I'll know something about somebody and they know that I know, right? So it's a shared experience where something that's on their mind or something that's going on is transferred onto me, and then they know it's been transferred onto me. If you've ever experienced this, the first time I experienced it, I was tripping on LSD, and it happened with my girlfriend. She had cheated on me, and it came into my mind. It was a knowledge. It wasn't an understanding. It was like a fact of existence somehow, and And she literally turned to me and she goes, "I'm so sorry." And she knew, she just knew. She knew somehow. And I completely ignored the cheating thing. And I just asked her, I'm like, "What just happened? How did you know, like, what just happened?" And she was disturbed. She was uncomfortable. She didn't like it. We broke up right after that. But it made her extremely uncomfortable. And it has continued to happen throughout my life. And running into things like morphic resonance or process theory like Whitehead, reading about how it could be possible in like a metaphysical way or a physics way for information to be transferred from person to person. That's always really interested me because I've had these experiences that I can't explain, or at least are not explainable with science or whatever people are calling science. But it's definitely it's real for me. It's occurred. It continues to occur. But so my brother and I were back there on this porch, and I said, "If you don't change what you're doing, you're gonna die. I know you're gonna die." And he said, "I know." And I asked him, I said, "Are you okay with that?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "I love you, brother." And he said, "I love you too." And what had come between us, what had transpired between us, the words didn't convey everything. There was something that came between us that was an understanding and a knowledge that this was goodbye, that we were saying goodbye to each other, and that this was already a foregone conclusion, which it was a beautiful day. It was heartbreaking, man. It was heartbreaking because my heart was like screaming out to save him somehow, but I also knew through whatever that was, whatever it is that happens, and I understood intellectually, there's only one way that this can happen. There is only one world. I'm only on one timeline, and this is the one where my brother dies. And but I'm pretty much the only person in my family, obviously, that got to have that experience, that got to say goodbye to him, which it helped me, but it did not alleviate the fact that I had lost someone that I loved extremely, the person I was closest to in my family. So, and what happened after that, basically, it was a descent into madness, right? I lost all ability to orientate myself in reality, to make good choices. I had bad girlfriends, I had bad experiences, I was drinking, I was doing drugs, I was getting in trouble. And it was a slow and gradual descent into just being insane until people didn't even want to be around. I was so violent and angry externally. I'm still filled with rage, but I just hide it now. It's one of those things where you have to wear this mask of sanity if you want to exist in society. Otherwise, these people out here, they're all scared to death. Everybody's scared to death. It's not, there is no place for, for angry, disillusioned people, which is an increasing number of us, really. Military age males, not in a relationship, no satisfactory prospects for employment, fucked up educations. I mean, we are out here we're probably the predominant group. And that's a whole nother thing, because we do need to change shit, and we are in a position to change shit. And I have my own beliefs about that, but anyways, so, and here's one thing I want to point out about this. When you are changing, it is gradual, obviously, to you, because you're every day with yourself going through the changes, and they don't seem abrupt to you because they happen slowly, and it doesn't seem extreme to you because no matter how far you go and how much you change, you've been there every step of the way, and it was all just a gradual slide, So eventually, years later, right, I'm with this girl. Everything has gone to hell. I mean, it is the lowest that you could possibly go. Just to give you like a very succinct description, I think there was probably a straight year of my life where the gas light on my car for low fuel did not go off. Or if it did, it was like for 10 miles or something like that. I mean, I had ruined my life financially. I had ruined my life, my relationships with my family, everything else, and my mother was just, she's in bed at this time. She is just, she never recovered from it. And so I had nobody, only my girlfriend, and she was manipulative and crazy and just had all of her own problems and everything like this. But so anyways, what I'm trying to say is I was living, my reality had sunk down to such a low place that it was just nothing. I was just nothing. I experienced nothing. I thought nothing. I had no feelings, no emotions. If I did, they were negative. Pain, anger, rage. That was it. And what I call it is the veil, right? That's what I call what you fall into gradually. It just comes over you. The colors change. The sounds change. Your interactions with people change, your whole attitude, everything, right? It's just like there's this whole veil over your life. And because its descent is gradual, and because everything changes slowly, and because you come to this resting state of just absolute shit, and you come to accept it as your life, right? That's what people do, is they just come to accept it as your life. I accepted it as my life. And I accepted it as my life until shit became so bad that I essentially had a break. And I think it was damn near like a schizophrenic event, because what happened was we have me, my brain over here with the veil and everything that's going on, and just broken, just everything's broken, my life's all broken. And then some part of me, right, some part of my intelligence or my soul or whatever it is, some thinking capable part of myself detached itself from my life and from the veil and everything else, and became this voice embedded in the back of my head, right? And it was just like one day it was there. It was just like one day I was laying in bed at probably 9:30 in the morning, and it's just talking to me, Then that's kind of why I say it's damn near schizophrenic, because I used to argue with this thing, and I even thought about it at the time. I'm like, man, probably not good to have a voice in your head that you're capable of arguing with. You really shouldn't be able to hold two different simultaneous points of view. That is not a symptom of a healthy psychology. But so that happens. It starts talking to me, telling me, you're wasting time, you're fucking up, this is useless, that's useless, all of your endeavors, they're for nothing. You live day to day. You're building nothing from the future, for the future. And you're burning your most precious asset, time, obviously. And I'm asking it questions. I'm asking myself questions, whatever it may be. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? How do I get out of this? What do I have to change? And it's like, you got to change everything. I'm like, fuck. I do not have the energy or the motivation for that shit. I am beaten down, and I have no internal strength left. I don't have, I've expended it all. I get this much back when I sleep, and I spend it the next day, So, so basically what happens is I come to understand I have to, first of all, get rid of this chick, right? Because objectively, she was the biggest problem in my life. An enabler, abusive, just using me. I mean, it was like we were in it together, so it seems like this thing where we're both struggling together, but it's me who puts in all the work, and then she's like, good job, It's kind of fucked up, but anyways, so I just tell her, I'm done, right? I'm done. I don't care anymore about you, about this relationship, about anything. I can't do this anymore. I'm either gonna kill myself or I'm getting out of here, And I had a car at the time, and the apartment, and I was like, look, you can have everything. I don't want any of this shit. It smells to me. It's got this stink on it, and I don't want it, And I walked away from it. I walked away from it all. And I was now homeless, right? Homeless, living on the streets, and I had this stupid little cell phone. It was like a Windows cell phone. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's stupid. It had these stupid icons on it. And I had this buddy that I used to kick it with all the time, and I'd done a bunch of work for him and gave him a bunch of tools and money and other shit, just like he was a fairly good friend, And obviously I had a problem with pills and some other shit at this time, and I called him and I said, look, man, I need you to do something for me, and it's not going to be easy, and it's actually illegal. And he's like, well, what's that? And I was like, I need to come to your house, and I need you to chain me up for like 2 weeks and feed me ham sandwiches, right? Which, looking back on it now, I can't believe the dude did it. He's a hell of a guy for that. And yeah, he's a hell of a dude for that. His name is Eric. A fucking good dude. But yeah, so of course, and that part was hell, right? But what I understood at the time, and what I knew at the time in my heart was, I've gotten rid of my chick. I've gotten rid of everything, every part of this lifestyle, right? I'm gonna move my ass 4 hours away, so I don't know anybody. I don't hang out with anybody, whatever. This addiction is the last thing that is anchoring me to failure, right? And it's the biggest thing anchoring me to failure. So it was honestly like 2.5 weeks. It was pretty bad. It was damn near the worst thing that I've experienced in my life. There's been a couple worse things, but this was really bad. My body had pretty much shut down at that point. I was very sick, and the withdrawals from these pills was horrendous. It was just, I had had an accident, and they put me on Oxy 10s and then Oxy 40s, and I had been doing Oxy 40s at this point for just forever, and other stuff, and it was just like, oh my god, it was horrible. But I can remember coming through it. Like, I remember it was impossible to sleep for like the first probably 10 days. I literally slept maybe 3 or 4 hours, shaking, convulsing, other things I'm not going to talk about because it's disgusting. But, and then at the end of that, like, say 10th day, I was just like praying for death, really. I was just like speaking to a God I didn't even believe in. I was just like, fucking kill me, you know? I can't do this. You know, I can't do this. And I fell asleep. I like passed out basically from lack of sleep and exhaustion and lack of food and everything else because I couldn't eat, you know? And I woke up probably maybe like 14 hours later, something like that. And I still felt like shit, but it wasn't urgent, you know? My skin wasn't trying to crawl off of me, and I wasn't trying to die on the spot. I was just like, okay, you know, I feel like shit. I feel horrible, but okay, this is a doable horrible, you know, if I can, you know, drank a little bit, ate a little bit, slept a little bit more, woke up again, a little bit better, until, you know, about 2.5 weeks time, you know, I'm outside, I can smell, you know, it's like smells and colors. That's what I remember. Smells and colors came back, and that was like fucking, that's how I knew I'd made the right decision. I was like, fuck, I thought this shit was gone forever, you know, because I had forgotten how the world looked. I had forgotten how anything smelled, how anything looked, how anything was. It had just been gone, and it had been gone for so much that it had destroyed my ability to feel anything, any positive emotions, any connections with people, anything like that. It was just gone, you know, and it coming back, it was just like, man, it was emotionally, it was just so strong, you know, it was just such a strong feeling. But what did not come back was motivation, right? Motivation. So obviously I had to get a job in a truck. Managed to get a truck. I think it was like 2 months before I got a truck. But what was the job I got? I got a job in some shitty shop doing like brake work and stuff like that. Just like simple stuff. But yeah. So, you know, but the motivation, it didn't come back. And the most useful thing that I learned probably out of this entire process, besides just internal fortitude and pushing through shit, is what I call artificial motivation. So artificial motivation is when you have to do something, need to do something, but you don't want to do it. Artificial motivation is this process of just doing it, right? It sounds so fucking stupid. But I used to do countdowns, right? Because at first it was hard to do shit like shower and brush my teeth. I was exhausted, mentally, emotionally, everything. My body was kaput, just like everything was fucked. So brushing my teeth was like a big thing, you know? It sounds crazy, but I would do countdowns. I'd be like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to count down, and when I get done with the countdown, I'm going to get up, I'm going to grab the toothbrush, I'm going to grab the toothpaste, I'm going to put them together, put that shit in my mouth, brush my fucking teeth. All right, I'm sorry, 10, 9, 8, 7, boom. And that was how it started, with stuff like that. And punishments on the other side. Punishments, if you fail a countdown, punishments. Cold showers is what it was for me. In the end, I wound up like jumping in lakes and shit of like, sometimes I would do it on purpose. I'd just be like, oh, I failed the countdown, and just do it to do it, you know, because it started to feel good. I don't know. I know this all sounds crazy, but so artificial motivation. Now I don't have to do the countdowns anymore. I stopped doing the countdowns a long time ago. And what I have found is that because of the mental conditioning of constantly doing shit that I don't want to do, now, as soon as I start the activity, there is no more mental games. You know how there's always mental games about shit that you don't want to do, and sometimes even the mental games, I don't have this anymore, but the mental games used to be like, you could be halfway done with the shit that you had to do, but you're still thinking about it, and you're still thinking about how much you dislike it and don't want to do it and all that. I don't suffer from that at all anymore. I don't do that, you know? And that's the best part of that. But that control, see, in my mind, control is about sacrifice. So if I want complete control, that's going to require a humongous amount of sacrifice. Because, like, say my life right now, my relationship, I could not, obviously with another person in my space and in my life, I couldn't control the things in my life. I couldn't control what was coming my way, you know, even maybe down to like what I was going to have for dinner that day, if that's a stupid thing or whatever. But, and trying to negotiate with that person and, you know, talk to them and work things out, I'm not opposed to that. But once you start to see that things are deviating and that you're losing control of your situation and of your autonomy and everything else, my view on it is that I want control back, so I have to make a sacrifice. And in this case, the sacrifice is the relationship, right? In other cases, it could be different, you know. You want to control your weight? Sacrifice food, you know. You want to get in a relationship? You have to sacrifice, you know, the certain interactions that you don't do because you feel uncomfortable. You have to you have to sacrifice your comfort. You have to get out of your comfort zone to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So control is directly proportional to sacrifice in my mind. And the more that you sacrifice, the more that you can control. But, yeah. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I was just, you know, I was feeling kind of shit tonight. It's just generally, you know, things at my job are, you know, it's a shit show. They don't run it right. And just the warranty administration shit is dumb. Chevy has transmission issues that we're dealing with. A lot of the 6 speeds and 8 speeds are going out right now, and I have to do transmission work for warranty times that are absolute bullshit. And what that means basically is, let's say that on a Tuesday I have 14 hours and then this transmission bullshit comes in. So it's a fucked up transmission. They're under warranty. Chevy is going to give you 3/10, right? 3/10 of an hour to diagnose the problem. No joke. Which I don't know if you are familiar with transmissions or what it takes to diagnose a transmission, but that's 18 minutes, right? And to hook up a scan tool and pull some good data just so you have any type of idea what the hell might be going on, probably 10 or 15 minutes. So they want you to diagnose the transmission in 0.3, right? And that's ridiculous. It's actually beyond ridiculous. It's total fucking bullshit. It's not even fucking possible. Nobody can do that shit. Your best fucking transmission guy, in 18 minutes, he could give you a guess, right? That's the best transmission guy in 18 minutes would have a guess for you. You know, and so I'm talking to the service advisor and the manager, and they're telling me, you know, hey, you know, what you wrote in there isn't adequate. I'm like, yeah, the fucking time that you're paying me isn't adequate. It's 3/10 for a fucking diag. I gave you 3/10 worth of information, which is, I don't fucking know. So, in order to work around this bullshit and still make money and punish them for the bullshit that they're doing, because that is that's a necessary component of this. See, if I don't punish them for what they're doing, then the system just continues like it is, right? Which is a problem. And not enough people do this, and that's why it probably won't work, or it's going to take forever to work. But and the way that I punish them is this, and it's stupid. Let's say I got 14 hours on a Tuesday. The transmission bullshit comes up. They're going to pay 3/10 for the diag, right? And then maybe 8.8 for an R&R of the transmission. That's if they'll give you a transmission. If you got to rebuild it, who knows? They might pay you not shit, and you might just get fucked. But so the whole thing is, it takes 2 days. I'm going to lose my ass doing it because of the flag time system and the fact that they're paying warranty of an 8.8 impossible time. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to slow walk that transmission, and that's going to be all I do. I'll have my 14 hours, my 8.8. I'll make it take till Friday, and then I'll get my 40-hour guarantee and head out. And basically what that does is they have to pay me 40 hours for 22. Is that what that is? 22 hours? Yeah. It's something like that. And that's the best that I can really do, other than just full on telling them, fuck that shit, I'm not doing it. That's pretty much the best option of what to do. So, it is what it is. But that's what I'm dealing with right now. It's just like people keep quitting. They can't keep people. And I understand why. It's perfectly, it's reasonable to quit. I think about it sometimes, and I've been putting in applications for different places and talking with them. But, I have to make sure that I don't jump from the skittle into the fire, obviously. So that's why I'm taking my time. Plus, I know some people that work there. Technically, they're like family. I didn't realize that until I actually went to work there, and then bumped into him down at the body shop, and I was like, oh shit, you're my father-in-law, what's up? Blah blah blah. So it's complicated, I guess. But anyways, catch you guys later.